The tournament is underway. Don't miss a second of the action. Tune in to 96.7 KFAN Plus and on the free iHeartRadio app for hoops coverage driven by Dave Smith Motors.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man program received an email to comment at KFAN.com. Would never have been able to check it if it wasn't for Tennessee. Tennessee encouraged me, nudged me. Matter of fact, actually humiliated me into finally checking my email on my phone. With the help of Chad Abbott, he was able to load that in. And this email says, for the first time ever, I left a game early last night with 3 minutes left in overtime. And I don't blame him. No! I mean, you're down 13, 2 minutes to go. You don't think they're coming back. But you would think from the time he got up out of his seat and got to the concourse and started walking away, he would have heard the roars, right? Because they must have been just one after another, right? You're down 13, then you're down 10, then you're down 8, then you're down 5, then you're down 3, then it's tied. You know, you would have think you would have been able to hear it and say, maybe I better go back and watch. Or, you know what's possible? He sold his seat on the... Remember when the Wolves were going to...
Are we doing that?
I don't know. I wonder if they are. Remember, it was like, hey, guess what? If you want to resell your seat at halftime, you can sell it to somebody. So Allen missed the end of that game. A little 5-3-4 now.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Brought to you by Willow River Company.
Question number 1.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shout a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
Twins play their season opener at Baltimore about an hour from now. Here's the Twins starting lineup today. Austin Martin will lead off and play left field. Byron Buxton will bat second and center field. Luke Keeschel will bat third at second base. Ryan Jeffers will be in the cleanup spot at catcher. Right fielder Matt Wallner will bat fifth. Josh Bell will DH and hit sixth. Victor Caratini will play first base and bat seventh. Royce Lewis batting eighth at third base, and Brooks Lee will play shortstop and bat ninth. Joe Ryan will get the start on the hill. Common, your thoughts on the opening day lineup?
It is what it is. If they were playing in town, I'd go watch because I want to watch Luke Keeschel develop. So I'd go there and watch him swing the bat for the bats. Again, there was a story, I think it was Athletic. It might have been one of the fish wraps yesterday where they talked to a number of the Twins about, what do you think about all these dire predictions about the club? I think Vegas, one of the sports books, has the over-under at like 72. There's a couple that are a little better than that, but nobody's got them as a winning team, and most of them have them under 80 wins. And, of course, the response is out of let them think what they want. We don't care what they think. We're going to be better than that. And, I don't expect them to say anything else. I mean, and maybe deep down they feel like they can be a better team. It's the old hope springs eternal, but, the lineup is what it is. There's a couple of potential players that they've got Buxton. He's a proven player. He is. He's proven. He doesn't play all the time. Last year was a nice season for him. A couple of other guys that have and we like Joe Ryan. After that, I just we talked about Royce's column that he wrote over the weekend. He went over all the decades that the Twins. He had a surprise team for every decade that the Twins had, and maybe this will be the surprise team. But I think there's a tall learning curve for a lot of these guys, and so the lineup is what it is.
Should I be concerned that Royce Lewis is batting eighth? I know he clearly had some tough times last year. But either A, they don't have confidence in him and putting eighth, or B, they have to ease him in because we don't want to hurt his confidence. And both of those options kind of concern me.
No, there was a time he was considered the best prospect in all of Major League Baseball. And if we've talked about this.
He was getting Kirby Puckett comparisons in town.
And he was tearing the cover off the ball.
In the playoffs.
And early on in his career, right? He was, he had
big moments.
He had that record where he had like 5 grand slams in about a 2-game stretch. It was incredible. And now, and if you'll remember, he also did the old, I don't believe in slumps, no such thing. And then I think I brought this story up. It was I don't know, in the last 6 months, somebody put together the longest slumps in Twins history, the top 30. And Royce Lewis has 2 of them. And then he finally admitted, well, yeah. And then he realized he had to kind of go back to the drawing board and change some things. And so it's a finicky game. So, no, you're right. I mean, that was a guy that was supposed to be a can't miss. Lavelle E. Neal wouldn't, even if I asked Lavelle, I said, if I could guarantee you the Twins win a World Series if you trade Royce Lewis, would you do it? He said no.
You've got to be kidding me.
I said, why? He said, because with Royce Lewis, they will have opportunities at multiple World Series.
And now he's batting 8th on a bad team.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Question number 2.
All Vikings, let's win this game. You'll hear us yell for more.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the state of the skull.
Nate Davis of USA Today gave out free agency grades for every NFL team. For the Vikings, he gave him an A-. He wrote, their new quarterback, Murray, or is it Murphy?
I think it's Murphy.
Is it Kyle Murphy? Is essentially being funded by the Cardinals, which should be a major plus on a few levels. Otherwise, the Vikes aren't exactly running it back after the cap forced them to shed Allen and Hargrave while letting Naylor and Harrison Smith, for now anyway, go. Still, Murray alone could be the rising tide that lifts these long shifts. Common, do you agree with the Vikings getting an A- free agency grade?
I saw that grade. I saw some others that are the same. You know, it's A or better. And I understand, well, you read it right there in that opinion piece, that, you know, look, he won a Heisman. He was a Rookie of the Year. He's had some good moments, but the last few years have been mediocre at best, right? He's been injury-riddled. It's to the point where the franchise that drafted him number 1 overall, they've given up on him. They decided this isn't worth our investment anymore, to the point where they're still, 35 or 38 million of his salary they have to pay for a player that's not on their team. So when you have all of those, when you have his whole body of work, to me it looks like we're kind of grasping at straws a little bit. That being said, you know, Sam Darnold, he's not the first or last guy to flourish somewhere. The guys, how about Baker Mayfield and his contract? Did you see what that contract, is that official? Like 200, how much money was that? I saved the story. He's getting hundreds of millions of dollars. And I like Mayfield. I mean, I think he's got talent. He's a good quarterback. But he's just reset the bar on what quarterbacks are supposed to be paid. I don't know if I will say this. With the Vikings quarterback situation the way it was, with McCarthy being as ineffective as any top 10 draft pick has been in a long, long time. Brosmer, we love Max, right? He's one of us, played for the Gophers, but he was in over his head. And I don't think Wentz has anything really much. I mean, other than a backup, I don't think he's got much to offer. I think it was a good move for the Vikings, but I don't know if it's worth an A. I think I would do how we do they'll readjust and do this, the report cards later. I'd say an incomplete. I got to see how he plays before I make a decision. But I don't mind him. We talked about it when they first signed him. I would have done the same thing, especially for the money.
Question number 3. And now it's time to go in the paint.
We have 4 Sweet 16 matchups in the men's NCAA basketball tournament tonight. Number 11 seed Texas will take on number 2 Purdue. That's at 6:10 p.m. Number 9 Iowa will face number 4 Nebraska at 6:30 p.m. Number 4 Arkansas will try to take down number 1 Arizona at 8:45 p.m. And then number 3 Illinois will play number 2 Houston at 9:05 p.m. Common, which matchup intrigues you the most tonight?
The 2 Big Ten ones. Or is there 3? There's 2 with the Big Ten, right? We got Nebraska against
3
Iowa.
with the Big Ten.
Yeah. There are 3 games with a Big
3
Ten
games
team?
have a Big Ten team tonight.
Which?
Purdue and Texas. And then you have the 2 Big Teners, Iowa and Nebraska, and then Illinois versus Houston.
Yeah. All the Big Ten ones, especially Iowa, Nebraska. A vested interest. I don't know what Deuce was thinking going to Lincoln, but he did. So I've been following Nebraska basketball. I've been following Nebraska sports for 4 or 5 years now. So I like that. I just like a couple of Big Ten teams. The Purdue against
Number 11 seed Texas.
Number 11 seed. Because Texas weren't they the one of the play-in games?
Yeah.
And so they surprised some people. So I think that's good. I like watching the Big Ten teams. So
I don't like, by the way, that the 11 seeds do the play-in game. They changed that a couple of years ago. Remember, it used to be the 16 seeds would do the play-in game?
Yeah.
One, I don't like playing games, period.
Yeah.
But then two, I know why they do it, because they'd rather have Texas in a play-in game from eyeball standpoint on television than some university you've never heard of. But it just doesn't seem fair to me that an 11 seed should have to play more games than a 16 seed.
Do we, I think I know the answer. Those play-in games are created just to add more money, right? Just to be more games to show, right? Because I don't even know what the sense to them is select the 64 teams and let them play. I mean, because what's next? Maybe we should have a 70 instead of 68 or 72.
Oh, they've talked about expanding it before. They've talked about expanding like 90 teams.
And it just doesn't, I don't know if we need any more.
And I've always warned them, what makes the NCAA tournament great, why people love it, is the bracket. Don't screw up the bracket.
Yep.
If you screw up the bracket, you're going to have less eyeballs on your tournament.
But you know what the bracket does do, though, Tenneby? The one reason maybe we want to get rid of the bracket? Do you know what it costs the economy? It's like $1.6 billion lost in productivity.
I always love that.
People like you doing brackets.
Yeah.
Instead of putting together a montage, you're putting together brackets. So, I like the Sweet 16. It should be fun tonight. And then the Gophers play Friday.
I think tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Question number 3. And now it's time to go in the trenches.
Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs is the betting favorite to win the NFL's Offensive Player of the Year award for 2026. Gibbs' odds to win Offensive Player of the Year are plus 700. Falcons running back Bijan Robinson is right below him at plus 800, followed by Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase at plus 900. Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua and 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey at plus 1,000. And then you have Seahawks wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba at 1,100 and Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson at plus 1,200. Common, do you agree with Gibbs being the favorite for Offensive Player of the Year?
Did they sign a bunch of really good linemen that I'm not aware of? Because I know he's really good, but
I think the rationale probably is David Montgomery's gone.
Yeah,
now, they did get Isaiah Pacheco.
Right.
But that they think he's going to have more stats because he's going to have more touches now.
Yeah. Well,
which logically makes sense, but yes.
But their offensive line's a mess right now. They don't have any. The only player they're talking about, they're at the point now where Penny Sewell, who's been he's been at right guard forever. He's been a foundation at right guard or right tackle. They're talking about maybe moving him to left tackle because they're so bad. But yeah, I mean, I love Gibbs. I don't see how anybody can't. He can pretty much do it all. The receivers, though, that all depends on quarterback play, of course. If the quarterback play is good, then the receivers have an opportunity. But that probably makes about sense.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
We've got more controversial Vikings news coming your way on the other side of the break here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
KFAN welcomes some great shows to the Ledge Amphitheater this year. John Mulaney will be there August 22nd. And Blues Traveler and Jim Blossoms will be there September 12th. Get the complete details on all of our upcoming shows on the concert page at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Have I mentioned, I generally don't like to talk about myself, but have I mentioned that I'm a high school dropout? And so a lot of things are over my head. And someone's trying to explain this play-in stuff. It says 10. The 11s are play-in because they're the last 4 at-large seeds in. 16s are still in play-ins too. There are 2 games of each. So yeah, So I don't understand. I know that, there's a couple teams that play in for the 16, a couple teams that play for the 11, but I don't know why they even bother doing it, other than it's all money related, I guess. There's no other reason to do it, because they had it, years ago.
They want better matchups in the play-in.
It was it was a 32-team tournament for years, and they expanded to 64, and the old, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, whatever. It's like that talk, we got to make the players a fifth major. No, we don't. Just sometimes good enough. Well, good is the enemy of great, as you know. Or at least used to be anyways. But I think sometimes things are good enough to
should have just kept the bracket at 64.
That's what I would have done. I don't think there was any need to add those extra games. They just they're more confusing that way. Give me 1 second here to get to this. It's baseball related. I can't remember who it was who sent it to me, because I got to go back to his email, because he sent me. All right, it's from Nick. Give me 1 second. Sorry, Genevieve. Here it is. So Nick sent me this email. It's one of those, I think it's a form letter sent from the new president of baseball operations for the Colorado Rockies. It's a guy named Paul DiPodesta. And he was hired to take over the Rockies sometime, after the season last year. The Rockies last year were the worst team in baseball with a 43-119 record, right? You think it's hard to get a fan base in Minneapolis pumped up. I mean, can you imagine what it's like in Colorado? The Twins look like a model franchise with 70 wins last year, where they won 70 and I think we were 70-92 last year. The Rockies were 43-119. So this letter was sent out March 24th to Rocky season ticket holders. Rockies update from Paul DiPodesta. Here's what it says. One of the primary attractions of coming to Denver this challenge was the incredible support of this fan base that I've witnessed firsthand as a member of the visiting team. Because he was involved in a handful of teams. I think he was with San Diego for a while and several others. But you know what, Tenneby? It was the fan base that made him want to come.
Of course it was.
Over the past few months, the enthusiasm so many of you have shown for this team has been extraordinary. The passion has both me and the whole team itching to get to Coors Field for our home opener on April 3rd. Before we could move forward in 2026, this winter we came together as an organization to define a clear vision for how we are going to climb to new heights. At the foundation of that vision sits an environment rich with curiosity, continuous learning, and a collaborative spirit. Oh, collaborative. We've heard that here in this town before. Collaboration. Over the last few months, that vision has already begun to take shape in Arizona, where the energy and belief from our players and staff has been infectious. I thought he was talking about the Diamondbacks, but I guess it was that Cactus League talk. At the same time, we recognize that this is going to be a climb. No. Building a championship caliber organization takes excellence in every aspect of baseball operations, from acquiring talent on all fronts to developing our players beyond what they thought possible, to putting them in positions to succeed at a major league record. That's the work in front of us, and the climb we are committed to making together with you right here with us. Most worthwhile climbs have a few common elements: some real challenge, a good destination, scenery that makes you enjoy it along the way, and great people to share it with. With your energy, passion, and belief, we know these coming years will check all those boxes. We can't wait to get started. Thank you for your unwavering support. I look forward to seeing you all at the ballpark this season, as we look to return Coors Field to being the best home field advantage in baseball. Do you think he wrote that, or that's a PR guy, right? Maybe he did. That could have actually, I suppose, I'd give him credit.
He might have just gone to Chat GPT.
Well, I think that's probably what he did, was Chat GPT, is that what we call it?
Yeah. So
we've seen the letters we get after another failed Twin season, right? I don't think, now Tom Pohlad has been, he's running the place now for the Twins, and he hasn't been really shy. I don't think he's found a microphone or an ink stained wretch that he hasn't fallen in love with. He's been very open and honest. I think he's been honest about, remember when he said, he goes, he basically said, we told Joe Pohlad, you're not doing the job anymore. And he said there was actually there was it was hard. One brother telling the other, the family had to tell Joe, you ain't running the club anymore.
Yeah.
And he said it caused some friction between his relationship with his brother. So, and of course he's come out and he said, well, this idea that we're not going to be a competitive team is preposterous. He thinks they're going to be. Of course, they really haven't done much that would lead us to believe, they were very quiet in free agency. But I'm surprised the Twins haven't come out with a letter like this, because they used to like to write those all the time. But this stuff here, and I don't know what else he's supposed to say. And I guess it's better than not hearing from the organization at all. Or would it be better just not to hear from them? Just say, guess what? We know you really hate our team right now. We're terrible. I'm here to do everything I can. Hang in there with us. This long, syrupy kind of, the scenery along the way, the whole thing. It seems almost disingenuous to me, but I don't know.
That's why I think like the Twins are in a spot where there's so much outrage over ownership that they need to just like calm down and not say anything for a while.
Yeah, maybe that is true. Yeah.
Because at this point, no one's going to listen to anything they have to say or believe it, and it's just going to create outrage. So just let things calm down.
Yeah,
and then slowly build into it.
That makes sense. That makes sense because it's the people are so. They're just done with the club, right? I use the word or disillusioned. I think that's a fair word. I think people are just disillusioned with the entire franchise. Colorado, they got a lot of work to do. I mean, you look at the Twins at 70 and 92, you go, you look at the Twins, you go, well, it can't get any worse, can it? Well, no, it can. Colorado. And even the White Sox, they only won, was it 60 games last year? There are actually teams that are in a worse spot than the Twins, if you can believe it.
They might be in that area this year.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's the thing. And that's what'll be most interesting is if the team does struggle like most observers feel they're going to struggle. I think you do, I do, Vegas does, obviously, and a lot of other people are thinking this is going to be a long, arduous season that's not going to lead really anywhere except last place in the American League Central. It'll be interesting to see if it does, especially if it gets off to a really bad start, it just continues, and what Tom's going to say then. Because remember, he scoffed at the notion that the team would be any good.
But I mean, at least at this point now, the bar is set so low.
Yeah.
Like if the Twins start 5-5, people will be excited about it.
Well, that's true. 500 club would be a big improvement. This text message says, the Rockies still draw 30,000 a game. The owner doesn't need to put a good product on the field. Right. I get that. It's that idea that it's a place to hang out. I think look, at my guess is I don't know what the attendance was at Target Field. I know it was the worst in Target Field history. I don't know how bad that is. I don't have the raw numbers in front of me. But there are people that they'll go to games just because, especially in baseball, I think they just go because it's something to do. And so you do get that. And in Colorado, apparently they're famous for that. But that'll end eventually, I think. I mean, if you keep trotting out a team that's winning 43 games a season, I think people will find other places to go hang out rather than the old ball yard and pay those exorbitant prices for concessions. More controversy Vikings news, other side of the break. Mark Rosen joins us just before 2 here on the Common Man program, along with Tenna B, right here on the Fan.
The Outlaw Music Festival is back August 19th at Mystic Lake Amphitheater, featuring Willie Nelson, the Avett Brothers, Lucas Nelson, and more. Tickets drop this Friday at 10 a.m. Get the full details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Earlier in the program during 534, Tenna B revealed the Twins' lineup for opening day today, and it raised some eyebrows, Tenna B's and mine and others, that Royce Lewis, who at one time was the number one ranked prospect, not just with the Twins, but in all of baseball, is slated to bat 8th. And we started to try to figure out what that's all about. Is it such a lack of confidence in Lewis that we have him at the bottom of the order? Or is it because, we want to, because he maybe has lost some confidence, we want to ease him back into it, not put as much pressure on him by having him bat in that 3rd or 4th slot? Is it possible, Tenna B, they have him batting 8th so that it'll look better when he limps off with an injury in the third inning rather than the first inning, because that means he will have played a little bit longer.
Of course, the injury will be running the bases
Well,
again.
that's it. And so maybe that's why they have him batting further down in the lineup, so that he'll leave later in the game, so it doesn't look quite as bad as going off in the first inning. So now someone just sent this to me. And maybe you're aware of this too, but I got to get back to it because I almost can't. Here's what it said. Text message that came in the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line. It says, Ben Lieber said he would start training camp with Wentz number 1, Murphy number 2, McCarthy third. He got obliterated on social media for that and had to make a video when he was on vacation and post it defending his take. Is that true? Did he feel like he had to come out of hiding from his vacation wherever he was to defend why he thought Wentz would be the number 1 guy? And did he really say that? I mean, I don't know. I
thought I heard he did, but I haven't really followed.
I wonder what his logic was. I'd like to see the video to see him defending his take. I mean, I'm not, I don't think Murphy is a cure-all. I don't think it's like, whoa, this is like getting a combination of Pat Mahomes, Matt Stafford, and Josh Allen all in one, and he's on our team now. And I was all for doing, the Wentz thing was like, well, yeah, I mean, particularly when they got, it was a Sam Howell was the kid's name, right? He gets to town. They think he's so bad that they trade Howell or just release him?
They traded him to Philly for a garbage pick.
Okay, and then they call Wentz, he wasn't on a team. He was basically retired. And they brought him in, and I don't remember exactly what I said at the time, but I'm sure it's better to have a veteran that's had. You've got a guy that's had experience in the league, and he had some success until he had that injury where he was lost for the season. He had the team, the Eagles, like 13-2 or whatever the record was, and he gets hurt. Foles takes over. Foles wins a big game, beats Tom Brady here at the bank. Remember that season for us? It was bring it home, and then ended up being watch from home. But you know what? But I don't know. And look, Lieber played the game at a high level. I did too, but not as, he played NFL. I got to Coon Rapids Athletic Association. I don't know in what world Carson Wentz you would want to have him starting in front of Kyle Murphy. Or could you make an argument for that? Or
so I did not hear Lieber say. I think I heard a different show talking about Lieber,
okay.
And I guess the defense was that Lieber was talking about like right now, like if training camp started right now because Carson Wentz has experience in the offense and knows the system. But we're not starting the season in March. We're starting in September.
Ryan says Lieber was just trying to see if Rosen would actually repeat that tape. That could be. Maybe he was trying to reel him in. See if you could sucker him into a pick like that. Your Wild Club plays tonight, right? Panthers on the road.
They got Florida, yeah. And Marcus Foligno back in the lineup tonight. So they are fully healthy. And the Foligno brothers are going to be on a line tonight together.
Ooh.
So Danilo Urov, they're saying it's they just have to sit someone. They're just going to give them a little break.
Okay.
But I also think this is partly how would our lineup look in the playoffs if we did pull Urov?
Okay.
Because they are going to have a tough decision, assuming everyone's healthy,
right? As
to which route they want to go. They have to sit a good player.
Yeah, we talked about that. Was it yesterday?
Yeah. But Urov's going to be reportedly on in the press box tonight, and the two Folignos will be playing that fourth line together.
I'm guessing the Foligno brothers have never played together before professionally. Is this the first time?
Not even professionally. I don't even think they did it as youth because there's an age difference between the two of them.
Pretty significant age difference.
I thought, what did I hear? I heard Marcus or Nick talking about this once, that the only time they actually played together was because they have a sister as well who was a really good hockey player. And when she was in high school, like the coach had asked both Nick and Marcus, they needed like competition for like a practice or a scrimmage or something. So that was the only time they've ever been on the same team together because they were playing against their sister. But other than that, no, the age differences, and they've never been with each other professionally.
So the Felinos will be on the same Folino.
Yeah.
Somebody sent that. I thought
I like that. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
The Felino.
The Felino. Kama, you keep saying Kyle Murphy. How do you have a job at a sports station?
I always love that.
You have to listen to every episode start to finish to know why we're calling him Kyle Murphy. Do I need to explain or should I just let it go? I should just let it go so people always just think we don't know.
Well, maybe explain it so everyone can come in with us and then we can keep doing the bit.
Rosen called him Kyle Murphy last week. Vikings quarterback Kyle Murphy. So it's Kyler Murray, and we just thought it was, but maybe it is Murphy. It is Kyle.
I don't know the pronunciation.
Yeah, I don't either.
The R could be silent in Kyler.
It could be Irish. I don't know. So that's why we do it. And then Larry Mondella guy got in on the ad. I guess when it comes to, we were talking earlier about the Brady thing, about Brady. Schefter reported that Brady was actually considering coming out of retirement, and that the league said, we're not really that excited about that idea. And I guess the reason would be that the league wouldn't like it is because with a 5% ownership stake with the Raiders, the way Tennessee believes it to be, and I think he's probably right, is that you could circumvent the salary cap that way. For instance, you could tell a guy like Kyle Murray, you could say to him, hey, take the NFL minimum and I'll give you a 2% stake in the team. Now, I don't know how many times you could do that before you had no stakes left in the team, but I suppose that's possible. But here's what Larry Mondella guy said. According to Forbes, the Raiders are worth $6.2 billion. Today, they're worth $7.8 billion. They were worth when Brady first bought into the team. Today, they're worth $7.8 billion. So Brady's 5% equity has increased by $90 million in 2 years. And if he would have invested 5% in 2020, he would have had a $235 million increase. That is better per year money than his Fox contract. And I understand all that. But I think to me, and maybe I'm crazy, for the average guys like us, if you're living check to check or you're trying to save a nest egg, put your kids to school, money overrides everything. But if you're Tom Brady, again, $300 million some dollar contract. I don't think he's a billionaire. He's got plenty of money. If it's more important for him to get one more year of playing football, if that became more important to him, he said, I want to play one more because I know eventually I can't go back. If I'm going to play, I have to do it now before I get too old. You sell the stake in your team. What could he sell the 5% stake for now? Well, apparently he could sell it for $90 million more. So he could make money selling his 5% equity in the team, play a year or two in the NFL, retire, and buy a 5% interest in a team again. It's not that apparently Brady didn't want to do that, but I just think people think money for all of these guys is the be all end all, and maybe in Brady's case it is. I don't know, but he's got plenty of money. And if I was trying to think of another analogy, Tennessee, if you had to give up a certain amount of money to get to play a year in the National Hockey League, what would you give up a big? I
don't have a lot of money to give up, but
whatever you have in your, your checking account, you have separate checking account from your. Would you be willing to give up all the money you have in your checking account, all the money and the half of the money that's in your joint account with the wife to play one season in the National Hockey League?
No.
See,
if I thought I was good enough where that year in the National Hockey League would lead to another contract in the National Hockey League, I would maybe take you up on that. I don't imagine it would go well for me.
I don't know, because you did say that you're on the same skating level as a lot of guys in the league. You did say that you were nominated for a PST. You're right, because I wouldn't give up everything I've got now to play 1 year on the PGA Tour, because
that seems a little more fun, though.
Yeah, well,
play all these great courses.
But I wouldn't make a cut. I'd only be playing 2 days, right? But like you say, if it were to lead to getting a card, then I think you might take that gamble. But I just think Brady would go.
Would you pay $100,000 to play in the Masters this year?
It'd be so embarrassing. Because I can't hit the ball more than 235, 240. Well, with my new Ping G440K, I could probably hit 250. I'd be like, would you pay $50,000 to play in the Masters this year? I don't know if I could stand the shame and the embarrassment.
Well, how do you tell your wife, by the way, I'm about to lose $50,000?
Yeah. Well, if it's out of your separate account.
Well, they're still not going to like that, though.
Probably not.
Just because it's separate accounts doesn't mean I can just freely, recklessly spend whatever I want.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
I just think, I guess for me, when I think about the Brady thing, I just don't really think. I guess it must have came down to money, or he just likes also being an owner more than he likes playing again. But I just sometimes I think with the money, it's like when think about it.
He just seems to be very confused whether he wants to keep playing.
Well,
there's been multiple retirement stuff going on with him.
Spend, invest, save, flaunt. A lot of things you can do with your money. So Florida now, I just took a quick glance at the standings. It's weird. They only have, did I see this right? I go, yeah, here it is. Hold on. Let me draw it. Wait, hold on. Stop it. So look at the game. I pull up, we're 40, 20, and 12. They're 35, 32, and 3. So we've had 12 overtime / whatever those are, right? And they've only had 3. Are they any good? Didn't they win a couple of cups?
They did. They have had some injuries to key players this year. Barkov, Matthew Tkachuk, gold medal winner in Team USA. He didn't play for a good chunk of the season leading up to the Olympics.
Okay.
Now, he's been in the lineup ever since, but he's only played like a third of the games. Barkov's been on. Those are 2 main guys, at least up front. So I would say injuries are a big reason why they're in the spot they are.
Are you a big Sam Reinhart
Or maybe
guy?
they're just bored of it now after
that could be.
They won their 2 cups. It's taken a toll on them over the last couple of years because they've played more games than everybody else.
Are you a big Sam Reinhart guy?
He's fine.
Yeah.
Brad Marchand's a little bit of an annoying little rat weasel.
We know that Ohtani would not have been a good fit with the Twins. Would Reinhart be a fit with the Wild?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wasn't sure about that.
We could use another center.
He's a team leader on almost every offensive category: points, goals, assists, the whole thing.
Well, guess who plays for the Florida Panthers? That would be Vinny Hinostroza because we traded him to bring in Petrie.
Oh, okay.
He's only played 1 game for us. I wonder if he's playing tonight, Petrie, because we traded him from Florida.
Yeah.
But he's basically just been a 7th defenseman since the trade.
So, at the risk of telling listeners and Wild fans not to listen to the game tonight or watch it, because we want you to listen to the game on the iHeartRadio app. We've been talking about there's really no place for them to go in the standings, right? Can we still catch Dallas, or is that pretty much?
We ain't catching Dallas.
Okay.
No.
So then,
technically, it's math. I mean, we're 5 points behind.
Okay.
You can gain 5 points, but they've got a game in hand.
Yeah.
Typically when the Wild are at a spot where there's 10 games left in the season, when you get to that point and there's a 6 points or more difference, like in a league in which you get a point for getting to overtime, it's hard to catch someone like that.
So I guess my question was, are we kind of going through the motions now, just playing out the string to get to the playoffs, right? Because there's really no movement up or down. We're playing Dallas in the first round, and we're going to be in the Lone Star State for game number 1, right? I mean, that's pretty much a given.
I feel like they have been going in the motions for a couple weeks now.
Which again, I get it. This is where I get it. I get it from the basketball community when I criticize the Wolves for so many games where they just come right on after the game and say, well, you know what? They tried harder. They wanted it more than we did. We don't want to play these games. And, I say, well, come on. That's what you get paid for. But then the Wild sounds kind of like, I know they're trying, but it sounds like because they've lost some games, we attribute that to not as much as human nature, not as much play for. You want to stay healthy and all that. So I don't know. Am I not supposed to be critical of the Wild and critical of the Wolves, or should I just shut my mouth when it comes to both clubs and just let them play out the string? I think that's what I got to do, because I don't seem to be making. I just make enemies. No matter what I say, I'm told I'm crazy. You don't watch enough of the NBA. You don't watch enough of the NFL. You don't NHL. You don't know what you're talking about. But I just know that one team puts out very little effort, and it annoys me. And now I'm told the Wild are kind of like going through the motions as well.
I mean, they're still trying hard. They're still trying to win games. There's just a different level, right? How many times have we gone to the playoffs in the National Hockey League and people like me say the NHL playoffs is a different level of intensity than the regular season?
Right.
And so I would just say that the Wild right now are not playing with like playoff level intensity. They're still going hard. They're still working. They're still trying to win. But have you seen a lot of Wild forwards laying out to block shots lately? I haven't.
And that's okay, right?
Well, I mean, I pre-warned you of the entire audience of this 2 months ago that they were going to be in a spot where they can't catch the team above them and they can't get caught by the team below them. And it's a weird spot for us to be in. It seems like these are always must-win games for us at this time of the year, every single year. We're playing to get into the playoffs. You're jockeying for position. I don't know if we've ever been in this spot where, hey, here's where we're at. And, are certain players not going to give you playoff level intensity in the middle of March to assure that they are as healthy as possibly they can be for the playoffs? That's just the way hockey is.
Yeah. Maybe it's just all passed me by.
It just takes. Hockey's a game where everyone's got to be in sync and everyone's got to be bought in. It just takes one guy on a line to not be given playoff intensity to kind of throw off the line a little bit.
Playoffs start in a couple of weeks. Are we that close, or is it longer than that?
Well, yeah, we got 10 games left in the season,
games,
so
okay.
middle of April.
And basically the same with the Wild, right? Or the Wolves. Basically the same boat, so we'll see. We'll just have to wait for that. I'm anxiously waiting the arrival of Mark Rose, and I got a number of things I want to talk to him about, including that Wolves game. He said he was not going to go. He decided to pass on that game. I'm sure he must be, maybe he's not ruining that decision. He had something else to do. He was going out with friends or something. But we'll see if he caught part of that game and see what he has to say about that and all the other topics of the day. Next, Common Man program with Common, Teneby, and soon to be joined by the legendary one, Mark Rosen, here on The Fan.